welcome to the new 7-Eleven financial dashboard instructions. So first thing that we want to do is we're going to go ahead and open up an older version of the project overview as a reference. So we'll go ahead and go to our home page and go to the 7-Eleven cross team, and within that there's a subfolder called update form. So we'll open up the Washington, and so this will give us a good example of the columns that we're looking to create. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off to the side for the moment, and what we're going to go ahead and do is go to Web Apps, and from here we'll go to the Project Overview Report. Be looking for 7EI projects, 7EI, and we are going to be looking for the open projects, and I think that should be it. So we'll go ahead and close this up. I'll go ahead and scroll down to make sure it looks like we've got what we're looking for, and we'll go ahead and export that. Okay, we've got our project overview sheet. So within here we want to make a few modifications immediately to this spreadsheet. After we make the modifications, we'll go ahead and import it into the Smartsheet. So first thing we want to do is click here, and we want to insert a new column, and that column is going to be called row ID, and then we're going to go ahead and number the rows. So if we start with 1, 2, 3, we can grab those, and we can drag this all the way down to the end of the sheet. We're also, in this particular case, going to focus on the last 2 years worth of work. So nothing prior to 2018. So we're going to get rid of these 2017 projects. So I shift click those. We'll delete those. So that brings us down to less than 1,000 projects. So I mentioned before that we want to have a similar layout. So let's see if I can't get this set up in such a way that's fairly easy to see. So this is what we're after in the way of columns. So you can see we got the row ID, the unique ID is fine, project we want, phase we want, starred is not required. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. And moving right along, we got phase, office, manager, and you'll notice we have start date, end date, and type, which we don't have here. So we're going to get rid of all three of those columns. Labor target we have, labor spend we have, labor percentage, you'll see this is green, much like this one over here is green. So these actually are formulas. So we don't want to overwrite those formulas, that's really important. So the percentage labor target is actually going to be deleted. Moving along, we've got contract amount, project costs, invoiced work, and again you'll see another formula. So percent invoiced, which is over here, needs to be removed. And then scroll on over. You'll see percentage complete. This one we're actually going to remove. It's not removed here, but take my word for it, it's something I'd like to get rid of. So current write up, write down, projected write up, write down, contract, and alert. All four of those, we're going to take those out. So we'll go ahead and delete those. And so now we're going to go ahead and save this file. And we're going to put this into the 7-Eleven folder under client manual. Projects, 7-Eleven, client manual, financial spreadsheet, and we'll just go ahead and make sure it's got today's date on it. We don't have any conflicts there, so that should be fine. Okay, so now we have our spreadsheet all saved, and we're ready to go ahead and create a new sheet. So if I go back up to my Smartsheet folder, we'll see we have our financial dashboard here, and there's our update forms. So we're just going to go ahead and give, we're going to go ahead and import the Excel and give it a unique name. So we'll do create, import Microsoft Excel, go ahead and find that file that we just saved, which of course was in the 7-Eleven client manual, projects 7-Eleven client manual, financial dashboard. Okay, how did I lose that? Financial spreadsheet, not dashboard. And you can see here's the one we just created, project overview 1220, recorded today just a minute ago. So we're going to go ahead and import that and continue. And all these should line up. It's naturally just taking the top line, and we're not going to modify the column headers. Primary column is the row ID, so that is checked. We're not going to be including any formulas on the import. There's no formulas in there to import. So let's go ahead and click on that. Wait for that to run. Okay, so we've run the sheet. It's called Project Overview. We can go ahead and rename that so it's more in line with what we've got up here. So let's call it 7-Eleven Project underscore overview and underscore Washington underscore 12-20 for today's date. Okay, perfect. So that's the download portion. So we're finished with that. The next thing we need to do is talk about how to go ahead and run the data mesh. So I'll show you how we go ahead and do that now. So from within Smartsheets, you will go and hit the launcher, the little 9-dot box, scroll down, and then you'll come up to data mesh. You'll see I've got a lot of examples here of what I've run. The most important portion is the target. So the source sheet where we're gathering the information is what we just downloaded. So we gave that a unique name, Project Overview underscore Washington with today's date. But it's always going to go into the same target. So it's extremely important that you write this down and get this correct. So it's Project underscore Overview, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and run a new one. We've got some examples in here, but we're going to do a new configuration. It's pretty simple. So first thing it's asking you to do is select the source sheet. So the source sheet should be in the 7-Eleven folder. Go ahead and scroll down here, 7-Eleven cross office team, and we've got the financial dashboard. You can see that this is the sheet that we're going to be placing the information in, but the update form is sitting right here. So this makes things easier because we know exactly where to find it and we're not searching around. So there's our project overview. So that's our source sheet. Now we're going to look for our target sheet, which we were just talking about. So it should be easy to find. 7-Eleven cross office team, financial dashboard, and you can see it sitting right here. Project overview, 7-Eleven template for data mesh. So we'll click that and we'll click next. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tell it what is the main lookup value. Well, there was a reason that we went ahead and added that column, if you remember, 1, 2, 3. So that's the row ID. So we're going to be, this sheet is going to compare one row ID from this sheet to another row ID, and then it's going to go in and collect all the remaining data. I like to go ahead and just start right here at the top and kind of pick all this stuff. Everything will be going in there now because we cleaned up the sheet ahead of time. So we got a unique ID, we have a project, we've got a phase, an office, got a manager, we got a labor target, and a labor spend. However, we did eliminate the percent labor target. So it's actually in the sheet. It's in the target sheet. It's not in the source sheet. So to make that clearer, if I come back over here and I go through here, we've got ID that lines up with unique ID, project, phase, office, manager, labor target, labor spend, and you'll see there is no percentage of labor target. So we got contract amount. So in reality, it makes more sense, I guess, to start over here. You know, collect all the columns and then match them up on this side. So contract amount, project costs, invoice work. Add a column because we need another data field. And this is the only percentage you're going to use is percentage complete, because that's not calced out on our sheet. We need to collect that information. Okay, so now we just need to match up data field 8, contract amount, match up 9, project costs, match up 10, 10 is invoiced work, and finally 11, which is percent complete. Okay, so now we've got all the columns lined up. We can go next. This is really important right here. Every time we run this sheet, we have to overwrite the data in the sheet. You know, we're going to have a lot of new information, so it's really important that we overwrite it. And everything else you can leave the same. And every time you create this, you're gonna create a new one. So let's just call this 7-Eleven financial. And how about we just use today's date? All right. Click on next. This gives you an opportunity to kind of take a last look at it. I like to kind of hover over here, look what at the source says, make sure everything looks good. And then adding it means you're adding this as a new config. So it's essentially the same as save. So we'll go ahead and hit add. All right, great. So you can see that we've got our brand new data mesh. And now to run the data mesh, we click on the sheet itself. And again, it asks if you want to review things. And you click click on run. So it's now going to look through there and compare all that information and transfer it over. So you can see that 899 rows were affected, which makes sense. It's saying that every single row was impacted. And it kind of gives us a little bit of a sneak peek here at what's going on. So we'll go ahead and submit that. Takes a little bit of time to load this up. Okay, so now what we can do is we can go in and we can actually take a look at our new project template for data mesh. And there it is. It was updated 32 minutes ago, so let's hit refresh. And now it's updated 1 minute ago. So you can see here we've got 899 rows of information. We've got these greens are formulas that were pre-placed. This information should be updated, and you can always go back in and pick out. We could pick out something from our old spreadsheet here. Let's grab a fairly new project, such as 9029, and we can kind of make sure it looks like everything matches. So let's see. I know you can't see it on the screen too well unless I try to bring it down here somewhere. There you go. Okay, so we're looking for 9029.1 and .2. We can see we got $2,000 here, $2,000 0% and 2,500. 2,000 2,500. Next line is 2,148. If we go to 90, scroll down a little further. Obviously, you don't really need to check all these, but just doing a couple checks to make sure that it looks like things are in line. So it looks like 9028.0, 9028.0, 7,200, 2,673, and $7,200 for a contract amount. Okay, great. That looks good. So we are done here. And then if you want to kind of do a final check, you can come in here, open up the 7-Eleven financial dashboard, and then the financial dashboards should be updated with the latest information. So this is what gets updated. Okay, great. That's enough. That's 19 minutes. Don't want to bore anybody to death. So thanks very much.